Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Natalie if you've never seen my face before, and for today's video we are going to be reading queer reads for an entire week. I really wanted to do this in honor of Pride Month in June, and if you guys didn't know, I'm a part of the queer community. I have a girlfriend, I live with her, and I'm living my best queer life, but I just wanted to honor Pride Month by doing a video where I read queer reads for a week because I have so many on my shelf. I have like a whole section right here if you can see, and I haven't read a lot of them on there, so I just want to pick them up and read them in honor of Pride Month. But the first one I'm going to start with is by the one and only Casey McQuiston. If you don't know, Casey McQuiston is one of my all-time favorite authors. The first book we're going to start with is I Kissed Shara Wheeler, and to be so completely honest, when I first saw this title I thought it was I Kissed Sarah Wheeler. Like, I kept reading it like that, and then I realized when I sat down to actually read it that it's Shara. And the reason I know that is because I literally did a deep dive to figure out what the name was because I didn't want to read it wrong in my head the whole time, and I came across a recorded live of Casey McQuiston saying that it's I Kissed Shara Wheeler instead of anything else that I've heard on TikTok or whatnot, so I'm gonna go with that. I hope it's correct. The first one I'm starting out with is I Kissed Shara Wheeler, which is a YA queer read. So this book is about Chloe and Shara. Chloe is a super smart girl. Her one goal in life is to be valedictorian of her high school class, and her biggest rival is Shara Wheeler, who is also wanting to be valedictorian of their high school class. So about 1 month before graduation, Shara ends up kissing Chloe, and she wants to find out why, and Shara basically disappears and leaves clues behind as to where she is and why this happened. And she also kissed another boy, which is her neighbor. So this neighbor and Chloe are trying to figure out where Shara is basically and why she kissed both of them, which sounds so weird and crazy, but that's what I've gotten so far, so we'll figure out what is happening with this whole thing. But I'm very excited to pick up another Casey McQuiston book. I have been wanting to for a long time, and I haven't read this one, so it's perfect. Also guys, look at the inside of this cover. It's a hardback, but I am so obsessed with the flowers and the colors. And then when you take the sleeve off, it has kisses everywhere, which is just insane. Like, you wouldn't think this would have that, but I'm obsessed. I think it's so pretty, so I'm very excited to read this. But that's gonna be the premise of this whole week. I have a few books in mind that I want to pick up that are on my shelf over here, but I hope you guys are excited. Even if you aren't queer yourself or into queer reads, I hope you get something out of this, or potentially find a book that you could read, because they're so much fun to read even if you're not queer. So happy Pride Month, and let's get to reading our first book. Hey guys, it is Tuesday around 8 o'clock right now. I am obviously still reading I Kissed Shara Wheeler, but I haven't had the sleeve on, so you get this cover right now, which is great. I'm in the middle of a chapter right now, but I'm on page 132, so we've gotten a good chunk done today, but I'm going to sit down and read more now. This story is so interesting. It's not anything like I expected. It's basically like 3 different people associated with Shara Wheeler trying to figure out where she's gone, because she kind of just like left the school with no explanation, but she's given these 3 people associated with her different clues, so they all kind of have to work together to figure out where she is. So I don't really know how I feel about it right now. It's just not what I expected, but I just feel like I have to read more to kind of get an idea of my thoughts on it. So I'll let you guys know once I read more, like what I really think about it. But right now I'm kind of just overall confused why this girl has fled the school basically, and why she has these 3 specific people working together to find her. So that's where I'm at right now, but I'm going to sit down and read this, and we'll see how much I can get through tonight. I definitely want to finish this book by tomorrow, and then I'll show you guys the next book that I plan on reading for my queer reads this week. I'm gonna sit down right now and read this, and then I'll update you guys probably tomorrow my thoughts on it and how it's going, because I just really don't know yet. But let's go read this and we'll see where we're at. Hi guys, ignore my appearance as always, but I wanted to update you guys on how close I am to being done. So I have about 70 pages left, and honestly, I just don't know how I feel about this book. I think it's a little bit confusing as to why Shara is like sending these 3 people on a hunt to find her basically. So I'm hoping I figure that out in the last like 70 pages, like the reasoning behind all this, which I'm sure I will. But I love Casey McQuiston's writing, like I'll just always love it. So I do love the story because of that. I'm just like a little bit bit lost on like what the whole point of them going on this search for Shara is. So I'm gonna sit down and read like the 70 pages so I can finish this book tonight, and then I'll show you guys the book that I'm going to start after this that I'm super excited about. On another note, something very exciting happened to me today. My mom's actually in town this week, and so we went into an independent bookstore. Not only did I find one copy of Fourth Wing, which I was so excited about. I did not go in looking for Fourth Wing because I've been looking for it for weeks and I can't find it. And I know you can pre-order it, but it's not gonna come till like July or August, I feel like now. That's what I keep getting from websites, so I just haven't ordered it. I've been on the search and want it now, you know how that is? Because everyone's talking about it, obviously. I didn't even think to ask if they had Fourth Wing because I just assumed they didn't because no one does nowadays. But I was browsing and my eye landed on Fourth Wing and there was 2 copies. So I now have 2 copies of Fourth Wing, which you're like, why do you need 2 copies of Fourth Wing when people don't have Fourth Wing? And that's exactly what I was thinking. So what I'm going to be doing in a video coming up is doing a little giveaway of my second copy of Fourth Wing, so one of you guys can get it, because I know it's very hard to get right now and I was lucky enough to come across 2 copies, so I want to give one away, but that'll be coming in another video. I just wanted to let you guys know that you should look out for that because it's coming soon. It's not the special edition, so I'm sorry about that, but it is a copy of Fourth Wing if you've been wanting it, so hopefully you're excited about that. But that's besides the point of this video. I'm gonna go finish I Kissed Shara Wheeler, and then I'll show you guys the next book that I'm gonna read. Hi my loves, it is now Thursday, 7:15. My mom's been here this whole week, so I had to drop her off at the airport. So I'm just now getting home. I finished I Kissed Shara Wheeler last night. What I will say about this book is if you are a queer person living in the South, I think this book could be very helpful for you. The main focus in this book is that they're from Alabama, and so they have a lot of judgment in their state and in their town specifically. They go to a Christian school. So if you could relate to that, I think this would be a good read for you. I personally just didn't fully relate to it because I didn't grow up that way. My parents were very accepting, which I'm very lucky about that, and I'll forever be so grateful, but I just didn't relate to this story as much as I feel like a lot of other people could. It was a cute book. I'm gonna give this book a 3. I wish it was higher, but I'm just being honest. I think I would give it a 3. Again, I love Casey McQuiston so much, and Red, White, and Royal Blue is actually one of my all-time favorite books. So if you haven't read Red, White, and Royal Blue, that was hard to say, you should definitely read it. That would be like the Casey McQuiston book I would 100 billion% recommend. But I'm gonna give this book a 3. So that was that book. Then I moved on to Heartstopper today. If you guys don't know, Heartstopper is a queer book. When I first ordered it, I didn't realize that it was like a comic book basically. This is like what the pages look like, and the story is kind of in little bubbles throughout it, which I didn't know when I first ordered it, but I did it in a haul and all you guys in the comments told me to keep it, and that was a really cute story, so I ended up keeping it, and I read it in literally like 30 minutes today because it's so short. I also have tanner on my face, so please ignore that. But I read it in 30 minutes today. It was so short, but so cute. I didn't want to stop there because I really liked it. The ending definitely is meant to lead you into the next book, so I had to pick up the other books. So when I was at work today, I asked my girlfriend to go pick up the 3 other books that are out in this series, and I have the 3 other books in the Heartstopper series, so I'm obviously going to move on to volume 2. But this story is about Charlie and Nick. So Charlie is openly gay. They go to an all-boys school in England or somewhere in Europe, and Charlie's openly gay. He's like come out to the school. Well, he hasn't come out, but he was outed to the school basically, and he's been out for a while now. And he meets Nick, who's like the star rugby player, and they start to form a friendship. And then Nick is kind of going back and forth in his head if he has more than just friend feelings for Charlie. So the first one was really cute, but it just leads into the next ones. Honestly, gonna read the next 3 within like tonight and tomorrow morning probably, and then I'll jump into a whole another book, which I'll show you guys once I do. But I'll try to update you guys. I know there's probably a lot of spoilers since this was the first one, like the build up, and then the rest kind of leads into like the main parts of the story, but I'll try to update you guys as much as I can. But this is such a cute little story, and I'm obsessed with the covers. I've seen this everywhere and I just never picked it up, but I'm so glad that I finally started reading it. So we're gonna move on to volume 2 and then obviously get through the rest, and I'll update you guys throughout. Anyway, I'm going to go sit down and read volume 2, and then I'll check in with you guys later. It is now Friday. I have work off today, so I'm literally just like reading in bed all day. I'm in the same sweatshirt I was yesterday. So as you guys saw, I started Heartstopper yesterday. The first one, I finished it in one sitting. They're just obviously super quick, like graphic little novels to get through. Last night I started the second book to Heartstopper and I read that within one sitting last night. So now I am on to the third one and I'm on page 254. I'm about done with this one. I just have a little bit longer, but the stories are just so cute. They just keep developing like each time on the same couple, but there's obviously like other characters you learn about and their relationships, so it's really cute. I think these are perfect books for like young adults kind of figuring out their sexuality, or just people that want to learn about kind of how it feels to discover your sexuality. I think they're great for that. They're obviously like very relatable. There's a lot of different terms in them that you learn about, and if you're younger, I think these books can be super helpful. I'm just so glad there's books like these nowadays, and they're obviously just very easy to read and get through, so I like them a lot. I've really been enjoying this little series, but I'm almost done with the third one and then I'll move on to the fourth one, which is the last one out currently. I'm pretty sure there's a fifth one that comes out in December if I'm not wrong, so I'll definitely get that once it comes out. But I'm gonna finish this one, move on to the fourth one, and then we'll finally pick up another longer book and I'll show you guys what I pick up once I do, because I don't even know what I'm gonna pick up yet. We'll finish these and then I'll show you guys what I'm reading next. Okay, it's still Friday. It's a lot later now. It's around like 7, yeah, it's almost 7:30. I finished all 4 books in Heartstopper, so I, you know, read all of those. I'm not gonna give much of like what the rest are about, but they do touch on like a lot of great topics that need to be talked about. So I just really enjoyed this series. Like, it seemed very juvenile at first, but I honestly think it was very well done. And it brought up a lot of hard topics that are hard to talk about, but they did it in a very great way. I really loved this series and I have finished this. I'm not gonna rate each book, but I think just all around I would give it a 4. It was great. It didn't give me like that 5-star feel, so I'm gonna go with a 4 on this whole series. But super great series. If you're interested in reading it, I definitely recommend. So we are gonna move on to another book and I haven't even picked it, so I need to go pick it. Okay, I'm really debating what to read next. I kind of want to move on from like a YA book because I just want like a little bit of spice or something. I was debating between Girls Like Girls, which Haley Kiyoko came out with this past month. If you don't know who she is, she's like a queer singer. I don't really follow her that much, but I know of her and I know a few of her songs, but she came out with this book. Or I was thinking about reading this one by J. Daniels. It's called The Tragedy of Felix and Jake, and this one just is pulling at me more. It sounds more like it would have more spice in it. It says, "There is no one worse for me to want in my bed than Jake Tully. He's hot and grumpy and literally a terrible idea. No one has ever made me feel the way he does, valued. But here I am thinking about him again. Falling for my sponsor is not my worst idea yet, but it's damn close. Felix Fields is everything good. He's thoughtful and kind. I can't help but think about every bad thing we could do between these sheets, but we can't be together. I'm not willing to risk my recovery for anyone, even if it might be perfect for me." I think I'm just gonna go with this one because I'm a mood reader and this is what I'm in the mood for. I'm gonna start The Tragedy of Felix and I almost said Felix and Oscar. I'm gonna start The Tragedy of Felix and Jake by J. Daniels, and I will let you guys know once I get into it, how I'm feeling and all of that. But let's go read. It's now Saturday. I actually have a very busy day. We're going to an amusement park. Also, I have clothes on. It doesn't look like it, but I do. But I started The Tragedy of Felix and Jake last night, and I really like it so far. It dives into like a lot of deep problems right off the bat, but I kind of enjoy that. I'm only on page 24, so barely into it, but I'm gonna try to read this in the car on our way to this amusement park for the day. I won't get much reading in because I obviously will be doing other stuff, but hopefully tonight I'll get more in and then finish this by tomorrow. But just wanted to update you guys before I leave. We'll try to read as much as we can in the car. Hi guys, it's now Sunday, so my last day of the week if we're, you know, doing the full week challenge, but I'm still reading The Tragedy of Felix and Jake. It's my goal to finish this today and then wrap this video up. I'm on page 122, so I still have quite a bit to go today, but I love this book so much. I just love the characters together. So you have Felix and Jake. Jake is kind of like the main character you meet right off the bat. He's in the military and he was an addict, but he was sober for 6 or 7 years, I believe, and something happened that broke that streak for him. So he was kicked out of the military and moved back in with his brother CJ, and when he goes to a meeting for his addiction, he meets Felix, who is a year sober, and Felix volunteers to be Jake's sponsor. So he checks in with him all the time. They start forming a bond and friendship, and then eventually that leads to something more. They decide they can't entertain that because they're both trying to stay clean, and obviously it's hard if two addicts date each other because that can lead to bad things. So that's kind of where I'm at in the story right now. I'm really loving this book so much, and I'm excited to see how it all turns out and what happens throughout. But I'm going to try to sit down and read. I've been filming a lot of content today for like TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff, so I'm going to take some time to read now, and then I'll check back in with you guys at the end of the day, and hopefully I can finish this today, and then we'll be finished with our queer reads for the week. Hi guys, I'm literally in a different state now, but I wanted to finish off this vlog and kind of like recap my thoughts on the Tragedy of Felix and Jake. I really like this book. A lot of it was based around addiction, so if you don't like that storyline, I don't know if it'll be the book for you, but I really liked the characters. I thought it was like a very raw and true telling of what addicts can go through and like what their families go through. So I thought that was really important. And then the bond between Jake and Felix was really cute and like just really heartfelt, so I loved that part of it a lot. But I am gonna give this book a 4. I definitely recommend it. You know, it's definitely smutty, so if you like spice and all that, you would like this book. But overall, I really loved this book. I give it a 4 to 5, and that was a wrap on my reading queer books for a week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was obviously very important to me because this is a community that I'm a part of, and so taking in queer books is really important for me, and hopefully you guys can find a book out of this, or you can read a queer book if you've never read one, because they're great and I definitely recommend them. But I just wanted to end off this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next video.